Hello and welcome to day 6 of BOOKTUBE-A-THON. It's almost the end. So far I've read 5 books, so I'm right on schedule. I just need to read 2 books in 2 days, and of course I saved the biggest ones for last because that's just poor planning on my part. I'm currently in the middle of City of Glass. This is my beautiful spine book. I am on page 219 and there are like 540 pages. So we gotta try and read all of that today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna start the Assassin's Blade, which is so exciting because it means I'm starting 3rd class. Before then, today is the day of productivity because I've been reading so much, I've been ignoring everything else, and my house is actually a mess. And it's all my mess, and my parents have been yelling at me to clean it. So before I read, I'm going to clean my room. I need to clean the dining room, which has been my workspace, and it's literally just like an explosion of books everywhere. I will show you guys, and also the book nook area that I've been tasked with cleaning. And some exciting news is in a month I'm moving across country. I kind of need to get my life together and clean the house, so I'm feeling very motivated to be productive. And then after all that, I do need to go to the gym today because I haven't gone in a few days and I just like need to move. I have all this energy. After that, it's reading time, so hopefully all that leaves enough time to finish City of Glass, and maybe I will also start Assassin's Blade, but that may be ambitious. We shall see. Alright, check in with you guys later. I'm not going to show you how messy my room is, but I'll show you how messy the other parts of the house are. Okay, my room is clean. I'm not going to check the time because then I'm going to stress out about getting everything done in time to read my book. So you know it's sometime in the afternoon, but I am just the type of person where I like to be neat, and then one thing gets messy and then it gets really messy, and then I like get stressed out enough that I clean it again. So it just goes in a weird cycle like that. But yeah, everything is clean. I like dusted, and like I had stuff all over my floor. So the only thing left on my bed is just like my supplies that I'm working with, and have all of these books that were taking up space on my floor, and I think I don't want to have just piles of books on my floor anymore because that's not safe for the books, and you know, it just doesn't look that good. So I have my TBR shelf here, and then the next task is we have our little book nook area. So I usually film here, and like this is all neat, but then there's just mess everywhere else because we just moved into this house a few months ago, and this is just like the area where all of the extra stuff has accumulated here in the dining room, and this is going to be like an office space as well as like the bookshelf area. So a lot to do. Are we gonna play a game? Hi Lucky, you don't like to play because you're old. Ready? You don't want to play fetch? She's running away. Look at you bouncing! Who's so good? Zoe, come here. Oh, what a good girl. So this is the before of the dining room table. It's literally a disaster zone. Okay, now everything is clean. I just have all of my important stuff kind of in my work area. And I found this really cool thing I did at school. I don't know if anyone will be interested, but we did this lab where we created this microfluidic device at a PDMS, and it's a model of the circulatory system. And we flowed beads through it. It's really cool looking, so I keep it as a memento of my time as a teaching assistant. It's now 5:30 and I've yet to read anything today. But I had a really productive morning because I cleaned everything that needed to be cleaned. I went to the gym and I had a really good workout, and I was just like in the mood where I like needed to move, so I don't think I would have been able to sit down and read had I not burned off some of that energy. And it's hot out and it hasn't rained in like a few days, so the pool is really warm. So I'm literally gonna change to a bathing suit, jump into the pool, and read City of Glass for the rest of the night. So those are my plans. Okay, just another little update. The pool is very, very nice. I hopped in and then I had dinner, and I've just been laying here reading. It's now 7:15 and I'm on page 292 of City of Glass. So it is really picking up pace. Melissa texted me and I'm like, oh, where are you? Thinking that she was around where I was, and she's like, I'm almost done. And I was like, well, alright then. So I have faith in myself. I believe that I can read this and then read Assassin's Blade tomorrow. You know what? Just gotta have faith. I'm a fast reader. It's just so beautiful here. This is like my little reading sanctuary. Also, I've been obsessed with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, so I'm just gonna show you guys my camp because I'm really proud of it. It's already dark there. But yeah, look. Cute little decorations. All my animal friends. I have something being built. It's just so cute. Okay, update. It's 10:30, so I have an hour and a half until midnight. So I don't know if I'll finish this by midnight, but definitely before I go to bed. I'm on page 408, and the big reveal involving Clary and Jace just came about, and I'm like, finally. I've been waiting for that. This book is 541 pages, so I have 130 pages left. I have to say this was probably the best one of the three. Like, I think it may be a 5-star read because it's just everything is coming together. I think changing the setting from New York City to Alicante, aka like the Shadowhunter lands, gives it more of like a high fantasy feel instead of a urban fantasy feel. I guess it's not high fantasy, but like more fantasy, so more so than it being set in New York. And I think the different setting is just helping propel the plot forward because there's a lot more world building that you can do with the Shadowhunter politics and stuff like that. Basically, when I started reading today, I was at 219, I think. So I've read 200 pages already about, and it's just been like hitting the pavement running. We'll see how much time I have, but I do want to see if I can read one of the short stories in the Assassin's Blade, or at least start it before I go to bed, because this is a lot to read in one day. But you know what, normally if I was reading this book and I am like really into it right now, like I would just be sitting here like reading it in one sitting like this anyways. It's just that I feel compelled to do it because of BOOKTUBE-A-THON, but it's not like I'm going to be doing readathons all the time, so it is what it is. Anyways, I got my chamomile tea, so I'm ready to hit the ground running and finish this book. I finished City of Glass. So exciting. This was definitely my favorite out of all of them. I think it's gonna be a 5-star read. Like, I mean, it is a 5-star, but the pacing of it was just like, it hit the ground running. It was really good. I'm gonna give more of my thoughts tomorrow because I'm tired. My brain cells are fried from reading so much. It's 12:51, and you know what? No matter if I try and go to bed early or not, I just end up staying up until like 2 in the morning anyways, and then not reading until 5 p.m. So I'm just gonna stay up and get a head start on the Assassin's Blade. I probably am only gonna read like 30 pages or so, honestly, but just get a little bit of a head start. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, hello everyone. It is the final day of BOOKTUBE-A-THON. Can you believe it? I can't. So I finished City of Glass last night, and I started the Assassin's Blade. I'm on page 34 so far, so I have 400 pages to go for the rest of the day. I am already really gripped and intrigued by this story. I mean, I absolutely flew through A Court of Thorns and Roses when I read that by Sarah J. Maas, and I started reading this, and I forgot like how captivating her writing is, because I just think the way that she writes about the way that characters interact with each other and also just like their actions and stuff is really gripping. And I know I'm probably just gonna fly through this series, so I'm very excited to be reading these for the first time. One of the reasons that I timed it so that I was reading this series now is I kind of love that anticipation and hype that comes with waiting for a book to be released, and I think now's the perfect time because there's only one book left, so I'll read it now and then I'll just wait until October, and then I'll have the last book and it'll be perfect. But then it wasn't like I had to wait years for each book. All I can say is I'm very excited to be reading this all day, and I have no other plans than reading. The video challenge for today was to talk about your favorite book, and I think no one is surprised when I say that the Harry Potter series is my favorite book series. I can't pick just one, but you know, it's one overall story, so I obviously had to go with Harry Potter. It's gonna be a very long Harry Potter-ish emotional talk. I think the reason that Harry Potter has such a power to be everyone's favorite story, and everyone just loves these books so much. Everything about them is incredible. I was so young when I started reading these. I read this book the first one when I was 7, and I read them at the same time my best friend Melissa, who we still are reading books together now, was reading them, and we obsessed over Harry Potter. Like, we would talk about it on the playground, and we like would do things at school where we had another friend who like wrote us Harry Potter report cards based on like what Harry Potter books we had read so far. We would watch all the movies together and just talk about it all the time, like be so excited for each new book that came out. I think when we started reading them, the first 4 books were out, so then 5, 6, 7, I like would go to the bookstore on the day that it was released, and it just has meant so much to me in my life, and I think it really brought me and my friends together because we had this thing that we could obsess over, but also the lessons that this story teaches through the things that happen with Harry and his friends. It's just, it speaks across ages and generations, which is why this story has resonated so much with everyone. I mean, there's even like a freaking Harry Potter world where you can go and walk around and like be in Hogsmeade or in Diagon Alley, and that kind of story that has that power to grip people everywhere so much. It just means a lot to me because that's really, really what got me into reading. And it's just, it's magical. And I figured I was like going along that theme of books that mean a lot and brought me and my friends together, but mostly me and Melissa together when we were little, because I have this Harry Potter journal. But what I keep in here, and I keep this with my books, is in the 3rd grade, my best friend Melissa wrote me a letter to Hogwarts. And I'm gonna read it. I'm literally going to keep this letter for the rest of my life. So, see here, it says, Dear Catherine, that's my full name. You've been accepted, and not ACCEPTED, but accepted, like EXCEPTED. You've been accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You can bring either a cat, owl, rat, or toad. Your schedule and supply list will be coming in the mail soon. Melissa has been telling me you are one of her best friends, and whenever you have a play date, if your mom allows it, you can come to Hogwarts. You will soon be a well-trained witch. Thank you, Professor Dumbledore. And she mailed it to me like in the post and addressed it from Hogwarts. And I think it's just like the best thing, the best Harry Potter related thing in my life, and I will literally treasure this forever. It's amazing. Just like the power of a story that you and your friends are so obsessed with it that your friend mails you a letter pretending to be a letter from Hogwarts, I think just speaks a lot to the power of the series. And I just love it so much. Such a deep Harry Potter love. It almost feels like it's hard to verbalize like just how much this story has meant to me while growing up, but I think because I read it when I was so young, I learned a lot of really great values from it, even when I didn't even realize that I was, because I was just involved in the story. But things like kindness and compassion and all those things that J.K. Rowling writes about in her book. And the fact that I read the first book when I was 7, and it stuck with me all the way now until I'm 23, and I don't plan on stopping to love Harry Potter anytime soon, but I know that I could pick up the book now and start reading it, and it would be totally like, I would still be enraptured in the reading experience. And for that kind of book to have that power from like literally like a kid to an adult is just, it's amazing to me, because I don't think that there's many books that can do that. That's my little Harry Potter love rant. I love Harry Potter so much. Anyways, so now I'm gonna get to work on Throne of Glass and just read all day. It is now 7:05 and I'm on page 255. So I have about less than 200 pages to go to finish this book. 5 hours to do it. It's interesting because these are novellas, but it basically reads like a book anyways. But it's cool and I like it because things are like heating up, some relationships are forming. I'm about it. But yeah, I'm like really into this book and I definitely think I'm going to read through the Throne of Glass series relatively quickly. However, now that I won't be forced to read, I can just read at my own pace and I feel like it'll be a little bit more enjoyable. Not that I'm not enjoying this or enjoying BookTube-A-thon, I'm just a little burnt out. Okay, It's now 8:15. I'm 10 pages away from the end of the fourth of 5 short stories in the Assassin's Blade, but I just wanted to film before the light went away because, as you can see, it's sunset and there's not going to be any light left soon. Stay out here until I finish this, and then I need like a break or something because I've been reading all day, but I'm so determined to get to the end, and I mean, it's only like 8 something and I have midnight to read. I'm thinking, I think about 100 pages. Yeah, it's doable. Check in later. I did it. I finished the Assassin's Blade, and it's 10:30. I completed this in one day. I have a lot of feels because it was really good. It's interesting because, I mean, it's a prequel, and it's a prequel novella. Usually I don't really like novellas, but I like this one because it read like a full novel, but I feel like it's just scratching the surface of the world. So I'm really excited to see how things go when I read Throne of Glass, and that is going to be my next one that I want to jump into. However, I like need a break for a day or two from reading. I can be the type of person that just reads really fast and reads a lot, but I almost feel like I was forcing myself to read, and I haven't done any other activities. Like, I need to catch up on my booktube watching and just watching TV and just like doing other things in general. This was fun to read 7 books in 7 days for BOOKTUBE-A-THON, but like I think I want to go back to going at my own pace and just reading because it's fun and not because I like feel like I should be completing these challenges. But I am really proud of myself that I did it. I am moving in a month across the country, so that's kind of terrifying, but I want to stockpile some videos before I move because I know in the beginning, when I move, like, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to be making videos, but I still want to be putting stuff out consistently. So if you guys have anything you want to see from me, just leave me a little note down in the comments because I would love some ideas because I feel like I'm gonna need some inspiration to get these videos out. Before I get into this wrap up, I just want to say I totally forgot to do my page count for day 7. So at the end of day 6, my running total was 1,548, and on day 7 I read a total of 432 pages, and so that brings my total for BOOKTUBE-A-THON to 1,980 pages in 7 days. Wow, that is a feat. I'm really proud of myself. I definitely had to push myself to read, and it was really fun to challenge myself for that week, although I don't think I'd ever want to keep up that pace for like life because that's a lot of reading. I'm just gonna go quickly through all of the books that I read this week. My quick thoughts, I'll probably do more in-depth thoughts in my August wrap-up, but for now you'll just get a little taste of what I thought of all these books. Book 1 that I started with is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I don't read a lot of contemporary, so I decided I really wanted to change this up. This was highly recommended to me by 2 of my friends, and I really loved this book, even though it was heartbreaking. It was so sad, but I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I just think the way that the character arcs were portrayed even throughout an entire day, because this story only takes place over the course of 24 hours, I was really just like amazed at what Adam Silvera could do with these 2 people and bringing them together, and just the whole concept of like getting a call 24 hours before you are gonna die is just, it's crazy to me, and the story is just, it's really touching and really sad. It's heartbreaking, but I loved it. The next book I completed is a poem called For Everyone by Jason Reynolds. On the back it says this is for the courageous and everyone that wants to be, and I refrained from giving this a rating because it only took me like 20 minutes to read because it's just one poem. Even though it's 100 pages, it's like very sparsely formatted, because I feel like to kind of get the full effect out of poetry, I need to listen to it, or, you know, I tend to speed read, and I don't think that that necessarily works for poetry. So I didn't have time during BOOKTUBE-A-THON, but I want to go back and find some sort of reading of this poem, and I think that I'll be able to get more out of it. But even just reading it, you know, in my normal way, I thought it was very inspirational, and I know that if I were to listen to that in the like more audio format, where I can kind of take the time to sink in, hear like the inflection and the pacing of the words, because that is what poetry is about, I think I'd get a more complete experience out of this book. Oh, I should mention, this was my coin toss book. My coin toss? What was that? This was my coin toss book, and this was my challenge number 2, something that you want to be, and I want to be courageous, so I chose this book. Book number 3 was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. This was my book to movie adaptation, so I read this book and then I watched the movie, and I absolutely love this. 5 out of 5 stars. Simon is just such like a great character, and the movie was so heartwarming. I had so many feels, and it was definitely a little bit, I was expecting like a happy-go-lucky story, but there were definitely some like really emotional things that happened in this book and in the movie, and I was really touched. Like, I can see why everyone loves it. Like, it is amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about this book, so I loved it. Next was Read a Green Book, and I chose Every Heart a Doorway by Sanaa McGuire. This book I ended up giving 4 out of 5 stars. It did a lot with a very short amount of pages. It was very whimsical and like kind of weird, and a lot of different characters, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the amount of like complex world building that occurred even in only less than 200 pages was really a feat of writing. It was really cool. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. And then next, for my hat book, I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is the prequel sequel. So now all the subsequent books are about characters that we encountered in Every Heart a Doorway, kind of going into their backstory, which I think is a very interesting creative choice, because normally it's not like the last book comes first. But Jack and Jill were definitely 2 of my favorite characters in Every Heart a Doorway, so I was really intrigued to learn more about their world, and it is so like creepy and cool that I think I definitely like this one a little bit better. Just like the vibe of this was so creepy. Like, this would be a really good October like fall read. Again, I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. Alright, next is The Book with a Beautiful Spine, and I chose City of Glass. So this one I had already started before BookTube began, because I've been doing an ongoing buddy read with my best friend Melissa, who I actually just saw yesterday, so we got to talk all about it. So I chose City of Glass, and I ended up like kind of reading it throughout the week and then having to cram basically 300 pages in one day. So I have to say, this is probably my favorite of the Mortal Instruments so far. I think it's a 5-star read for me. Like, I don't know what it was, but just maybe the changing of the setting from New York to the Shadowhunter City, Alicante, or just the fact that it was a finale and I felt like the stakes felt higher. And I definitely think that the new villain that was introduced in this story is my favorite villain. He was just so conniving in the things that he did, and it was really intriguing. So I don't know, just something about this just upped the ante, and it was definitely my favorite of the Mortal Instruments that I've read so far. And last but not least, for my 7th book, because the 7th challenge was to read 7 books, I read The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas, and you can see I have many tabs. I really enjoyed this book. It's interesting to me that it is written in novellas, I guess because it was released via ebook. It basically reads like a continuous novel. Like, you could take away the like breaking up of the stories and it would still have a lot of continuity. I just started Throne of Glass yesterday, and I'm only like 70 or 80 pages in, but it's really interesting to me that this book came out after and there's still things sprinkled in Throne of Glass that refer to things in The Assassin's Blade. And also I feel like I have a better understanding of where Selena came from as a character because I read this first. So I'm actually really glad that I read this one first, although I do feel like I rushed through it because I, was trying to finish my 7th book the last day and I was kind of stressed out at that point. So I think for the rest of the series, I'm definitely just going to take my time and read at my own pace and really just soak up as much as I can of this world, because I'm so intrigued by it, and she's so like sassy and badass, and I already know I'm gonna love this series. Like, I'm just excited. Those were all the books that I read for BookTube-A-thon. I hope you guys had a great BookTube-A-thon experience. I had so much fun. This is actually my first time either watching BookTube or being on BookTube that I participated in this, because I only discovered BookTube in like March and I started my channel in like June. So like after I've been watching videos for a few months, I'm like, all right, like I gotta join in the action and do this. And I'm so excited because I got to participate in BookTube-A-thon and it was so much fun. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of BookTube-A-thon, what your favorite part was, how many books you got done. Like, I'm really curious just how everyone's experience went. All right, so have some fun, read some books, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.